If your blood runs orange and blue, this is the pod for you. You're listening to Orange and Blue Bloods, hosted by EJ Stewart and Tommy Beer. Let's get to it, New York.
But we'll talk about this last thing here because this is something that I don't want to say stunned me, but I was surprised it came out this fast after Philly's exit. So the Sixers eliminated from the playoffs. They got blown out in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, and they already faced an uncertain offseason that's become even more uncertain. Doc Rivers was fired this Tuesday as we record this podcast, and some have wondered if the Knicks could be in pursuit of the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid. So Bill Simmons of the Ringer said on this podcast, quote, "The Knicks are just waiting for Embiid to say, time for me to go. They have their relationships. They have Leon and Wes, who are his guys. They've been waiting for this moment, and it's here." And he went on to say that perhaps the Knicks will pull a KD to Suns-like package where they would overpay in order to get Embiid to New York. Meanwhile, Zach Lowe says the team should keep an eye on the Embiid situation, saying Joel loves Philly. Philly loves him. He loves being loved in Philly and understand what that means. I think it would be hard for him to follow the superstar thing and I'm forcing my way out of here model. But if James leaves, you're relying on Maxey to take a giant leap, putting some pieces together. I know that these teams with assets are looking around saying, whoa, if I'm the Knicks, all these Karl-Anthony Towns rumors are going to start now. Forget that. I have a good team. I have Brunson, who's an awesome point guard. I still got all these chips. Towns ain't the guy I'm playing those chips for. Embiid, that's the guy I'm playing all these chips for. So do you think it's possible, or even beyond that, do you think the Knicks will become players for Embiid if all of this plays out and he does one out?
No question. Absolutely. I think that the Knicks will, they would be derelict in their duties if they didn't fully explore every opportunity to get a player of Embiid's character, a quality. Listen, is he injury prone? Yes. Can you rely on a playoff? I don't know. If he's available, you have all these chips. You have a point guard. Zach Lowe summed it up perfectly. The reason you kept all these chips is to get, how much more valuable can a player be than the reigning MVP, average 33 points a night? There's just impossible not to be intrigued by it. I've heard a lot of people say the Sixers would never trade Embiid to the Knicks, let alone, they're not going to trade him at all. They're definitely not going to trade him to the division. Listen, guys like Sean Marks didn't want to trade KD to Phoenix or anywhere else. KD said, "This is what you're going to do, or you're going to lose." Or
I'm going to cause hell. Right.
These are that's what happens with these guys. They don't search the market like, let me see. I think I like this package a little bit more. No, the player says you can trade me here or here. I'll consider this option, but that's it. I'm not.
In many ways, I feel like that's why the whole Ainge and Don Mitchell thing was so weird, because Ainge coming in as a new executive, like he didn't care if Don Mitchell was going to create hell for him. It didn't really matter. He just got there. But these guys who have jobs, who are trying to keep their jobs, who are trying to please their owners, they have a lot more to lose. So it gives the players a lot more leverage. So I think that that's a good point.
100%. So all that being said, do I think Embiid will get traded? No. I don't think it'll happen. Is that something that'll happen next season? Maybe. But I think coming off an MVP season, for him to demand the trade, again, that's the only way it happens. The Sixers are because you can't get equal value back by trading a superstar. Unless, I shouldn't say that. The history tells us that if you wait long enough. But again, is Daryl Morey willing to, trade him for restart the whole rebuilding process once again and kind of go the Nets route and take a Mikal Bridges type player and 4 first rounders? Again, if it was another GM other than Morey, you'd think he'd want to be in win now mode. All that stuff I assume will be addressed. But again, the same reason we talked about the Knicks being optimistic that the East is, I don't want to say wide open, but who knows what happens with the Bucks. The Celtics are beatable. The Knicks, the Sixers were up in Game 6 of the series. So there's a lot there. I think I don't think they'll bring back Harden. I think that'll be addition by subtraction. Use that cap space to a player that's better suited, that will show up in a big spot. Give Maxey a bigger role. Maybe flip Tobias Harris. So there's a lot of things that the Sixers can do. That before they throw in the towel and say, we are not going to win with him. Still in the prime of his career. He's been relatively healthy the last few seasons. So I don't think they, unless unless Embiid says, "Listen, I'm not playing next season," unless you
Right,
trade me,
yeah.
so get something from me. That's the only way I see it happening. So we'll see. Do I think it's again? I don't think it's likely. I think if he does get traded, the Sixers will look anywhere other than the Knicks. It basically Embiid has to tell them, "I'm only playing for New York." Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So we'll work out a 3-team deal, or make a trade, have whatever, make it happen. But that's the reality. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we thought Danny Ainge was someone that was tough dealing with, I think Daryl Morey won't necessarily be all that much easier. So there's that aspect to it as well. And like, if Embiid says I want to be traded, I can almost guarantee you the Knicks will be on that list. I mean, maybe a list of teams, but the Knicks will be on that list.
100%.
Yeah. Does he get here? That I'm a little more unsure about. Right. I think for one, I think that once Embiid goes on the market, I think a lot of teams are offering a lot. Like I think that like KD went for a lot less than I think people thought he would go for, given what the Nets asking price was at the time. Now, in hindsight, it looks like the Nets got quite a lot. But like when we were talking about last season, they were like, we want Jaylen Brown. They want Jaylen Brown and multiple first round picks. Like that's like that was like laughable, by the time he asked for a trade during the trade deadline. So I think Embiid may get a package closer to what they're talking about with KD than what KD actually ended up getting. So if the Knicks are playing in that game, and he should. I think that he's worth it. I don't think KD was ever worth that. Agreed. So I think if the Knicks are playing in that pool, I think they may allow themselves to be outbid. I don't know if a team's offering like another all-star caliber player and multiple first-round picks, that the Knicks are going to have enough at that point. They have all the picks they have, but what if one of these teams offers, hey, we will throw in a Jaylen Brown, or we will throw in X, Y, and Z, a player who's an all-star caliber guy. Then the guys the Knicks have, Jalen Brunson is not going to be in a trade.
That's
Julius
it.
Randle's an all-star that nobody wants. So what happens at that point?
Brunson's the only untouchable player, full stop.
Right.
You put together a package of Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes, 4 first-round draft picks. I don't know if any. Listen, I'm just saying, like the Knicks have a lot of stuff to.
They do.
They can make a very interesting offer. Let's just say that.
No, they definitely can. I think my concern would be the teams that come in who have star players already that they are willing to trade. Like the Knicks have a star player that they're not willing to trade. So that kind of makes it, and that becomes, because for Philly, like you said with Daryl Morey, like I don't expect him to say, "Oh, I'm willing to just now start a rebuild." Like I think he's gonna want to still be competitive. Honestly, I think if Embiid asked for a trade, I think he may quit. Like I don't think he'd want to even sit through any of this.
100%. You might be right.
Yeah.
Like seriously, he might just say, "Listen, I'm gonna," because he's, the ownership may force him out too. Because I don't want you thinking, because the fear, if I'm Philly, is I don't want I don't want to go the Utah route. I don't want Larry.
Right,
Martin,
exactly.
Because I don't want 37 wins. I want 15 wins. So I can, the process has been,
the rebirth of the process would start if they traded Embiid, and I don't know if Morey wants any piece of that. Right. So that becomes an interesting thing. This Embiid situation is going to be interesting to follow. A lot happening in the NBA. We got a lottery this week. We got suspensions to Ja Morant. So this is already going to be a very action-packed offseason. Plenty of coaching firings, including Doc Rivers as well. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you want to see more of our videos, be sure to check out our playlist and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest podcast ventures. Links will be in the descriptions. And as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next video.